But that is just discipline, a disrespect for your manager and your teammates, what he's done today.
OK, well, we'll get into United a lot more, of course, in the next 60, 70 minutes or so. Liverpool, we saw the smiling faces. Mo Salah's only the second ever person to score a hat-trick for Liverpool at Manchester United in their history. Does that get any better as a Liverpool player than that today?
No, because, of course, everyone will have... There's two sides to every story, but from Liverpool's point of view, what a sublime performance. They've come and, they've arrived at Old Trafford on the crest of a wave anyway, playing particularly well at the moment. Mo Salah is just playing out of this world. Scoring a hat-trick at Old Trafford's hard enough when you're playing for Manchester United, when you're beating everyone 5 or 6-0. But to go as an away team and score a hat-trick, and, against, OK, they've played poorly today, but they've still got some unbelievably talented players. It's an unbelievable performance from Mo Salah, from Liverpool. Any chinks that Manchester United had in their armour, Liverpool punished them, and punished them badly, severely. Probably could have scored more. If they'd needed to, probably would have in the second half. It was a sublime performance.
Burn and come back from that.
I don't know, Steve. It's going to be very difficult for him. Can
he come back from that?
Yeah, I think he can. There has been some bad results in his reign. You think going back to last year, the 6-1, I think it was against Spurs. He came under a lot of pressure. I don't think there was any crowd at that game, so that probably helped a bit. But this is slightly different, Liverpool. It's going to be very difficult to come back from it. But I think there's a chance he might do. I really don't know. It's probably a bit too hasty to start talking about stuff like that when it's been such a sad day, but you do have to question tactics. Today, of all days, keep going back to it. Playing them two midfield virtually on their own against a Liverpool team, at times in the middle of the pitch. They've not just got Keita, Henderson, Milner, who went off injured, Curtis Jones comes on. They've then got players dropping into midfield. You've got Salah. It's almost 2 against 5 players at time. It's impossible for any midfield. And we can sit here and say that Fred and McTominay aren't good enough for Man United in centre midfield to win a league. But when you're left exposed as they are, it's impossible for anyone. This was always going to happen. Playing a game like that against a top-class team, this was always going to happen. And do you know what? I think players have to take a bit of criticism as well. We keep bigging them up, saying how special a group we think he's produced. A lot of these players have won nothing. Cristiano's come, he's won. Cavani, he's won. Varane, Pogba, they've won things. The rest of them, they've still got to prove that they can win trophies. It's all right saying we think they can. They play as if they think they can. But for 4 years now, they've not been good enough to win a trophy. So we can't just lay it all on Ole, although I do think...
But in terms of the players today, what you're saying is that he was the one who put that plan together where they were on the pitch.
I think tactically today was bad. But I thought the other night was bad as well. They got away with it the night because you're not playing against a top-class team. You are playing against one of the best teams there's been. One of the best teams there's around, along with Manchester City in Europe, if not the world. And you are going to get exposed coming up against quality players and a quality manager.
And did we see the gulf currently between those two sets of players at the moment?
Yeah, I think we saw a gulf in... Listen, the standard of play, when you're on top of on your game, you're confident, everything's going well, you look like you're a better team anyway. But player for player, there's not a huge difference. But...
So what is the difference then?
Well, tactics, the total disorganised way that Manchester United tried to play the game. There is no... I mean, we'll go on to look at the goals in a bit. There is so many things and so many ways you can stop the goals. It's like, I got taught it as about a 13, 14-year-old. When you're out of possession, you get left to play alone when you're younger. You have a bit of fun, score a load of goals. But at some point in your career, someone grabs hold of you and say, right, 50% of the time you've not got the ball. You're not a passenger. You're a centre forward. You think you do, you don't. You angle players. You take players into areas that your mate's going to win the ball off them. You're hunting packs. I'm the first one to go. I'm not going to win the ball. He might not win the ball. He might, but down the chain, someone's going to win the ball from where you put the pressure on. How you. There's attacking players there, just meander towards the ball. They can get past that way, anyway. How can you build a structure behind you if you've just got right from the minute one, right from the first person pressing, haven't got a clue how to play as an attacking player out of possession? It's something they should have learned as a 13, 14-year-old, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to sort that out straight away, right from the start.
Well, he's got to sort it out. You highlighted the Leicester game before the game. You spoke about the Atalanta game in the week, and you two are now speaking about the same subject again today.
Because we could see what was there. You could smell the danger of playing against a top-class team. Tactically, was bad today, really bad. But on the other side of that, players got to have some kind of common sense as well. You think about Mason, that first instance, going to close him down. That was almost cheating. Because he knew he couldn't get the ball, and he knew it looks like I'm going to close him down. But he knows he's just going to pass it to him here, and he can't do anything. So it's almost a cheating way of sprinting to him, letting him pass it, and then just a little walk back, because he knows, oh, nothing, I've done my bit. But he hasn't done his bit. He's ruined the whole team. All the team get pulled out of position. Wan-Bissaka has to come out. Lindelof ends up but right back, and exactly what we said. Then all the space in the middle. All of a sudden, from Mason not doing his job properly, the team attacking him. I think it was Salah who played Keita in. He could have played Alexander-Arnold in. He could have played Robertson in. It was ridiculous the way it happened. Sometimes players have got to use the common sense, but ultimately the manager will get the blame for the tactics that were set out. It was exactly the same Wednesday night.
OK, let's talk to your former teammate, Owen Hargreaves, who's been with us at Old Trafford all day. You had a seat pitch side. Could you believe at times what you were seeing, Owen?
No, you nailed it, Steve. I mean, I literally couldn't believe what I was watching. I don't think the fans could believe what they were watching. And to be fair, about 25 minutes in, they turned. You know, they could feel the nervousness on the players. In possession, defensively, they were all over the place. And today, United showed their level. The thing is, look, you got to praise Liverpool. They played absolutely fantastic. They showed their level. They showed what champions play like. And they came up here as a team and put on a performance. And United showed that they are miles off reaching the level of Manchester City and Liverpool. That was, the scoreline suggested, but the performance was between the two teams. The gap is just so significant, it's unbelievable.
Owen, Scholes, you OK, mate?
How you doing, Scholes?
Yeah, good. I'm just thinking, look at them tactics. You're a central midfield player, unbelievable athlete, could get around the pitch. Would you have enjoyed playing in that midfield today?
Well, I'll tell you what, Scholes, I would have gone down swinging if we were going to go down. Look, one of the most important things is you compete. I didn't see United compete for everything today. Liverpool showed their level. Scholes, look, you have a feel when you're losing and when the ship's going down, but you got to fight against it. You take pride in these moments as a player to be on this game to show your level. And the thing is, Liverpool did that. United, you've got even more questions than you boys probably had, Mo, against the Leicester game. You did the game midweek. There's so many more. Even this game brought up even more questions because you can't play two holding midfield players. You're going to concede 5. The balance of the team was way off. Then you get Pogba on to try and save it. But there's so many issues. On the right-hand side, Wan-Bissaka, I was watching him. He almost closes off the pitch because he doesn't really want the ball in attacking areas. Do you know what I mean? So, and if you're going to concede all the goals that they did, Harry Maguire had a bad day at the office, really bad day at the office. The midfield balance was off. They didn't look like they're ever going to score. Scholes, there were so many things wrong with it. It was unbelievable.
Owen, you're there pitch side. When we were playing, I think as central midfield players especially, you're the ones trying to control the game. So on a day like today, especially when you're playing against good players, sometimes you're 5 against 2 in that midfield because Mason and Marcus aren't prepared to come back. Are any of them coaching or saying to Mason, look, come here, get next to me for 5 minutes. Marcus, you've got to come back next to me for 5 minutes, just to try and get a foothold in the game? Look,
Mason's a fabulous player, but he doesn't track back. That's not the first time, I've seen the fact that he's not running back in support of Wan-Bissaka. So I think Ole probably played those boys, Scholesy, because Mason's an academy boy. He understands what this game means. He played Marcus because he understands what this means. Cristiano knows what it means more than anyone. I think he played those boys because he thought they were going to put the work in. But Liverpool compete as a team. That front three from Liverpool, they're always kind of rotating, they're always pressing. But United didn't play as a team. We talk about the attacking players, but we were all there for each other, Scholesy, when we needed to be. Do you know what I mean? you know when to press and you know when to drop in, you know when to find your shape, you know when to find little pockets and get on the half turn. I mean, offensively, defensively, the gap between the two teams, Scholesy, I knew it was a big gap. I never believed it was that big until tonight.
That's what I'm trying to say, Owen, that there's a real lack of leadership in this team, and surely at some point, them two midfield players playing centre midfield for Man United, they've got to organise around them when they know it's very tough. Harry Maguire, centre-half, great experience. Lindelof, great experience internationally. They've got to start talking to it. See, because you're there, I'm just saying, is there any coaching on the pitch? Can you hear anybody? Is there anybody trying to lead the team?
I'll tell you what, Scholes, the crowd turned at about 25 minutes, and it was only on that. They turned because they could feel that the players, whatever, they weren't communicating, they weren't comfortable in possession. There was a nervousness about them. Look, you can have doubt, that's fine, but you got to push through it. You got to compete. You got to compete for every ball. You got to get on the ball. Paul Pogba, whether you like him or not, he shows for the ball every time they need it. Every time somebody needs to pass the ball to, he's there. You know, there were a lot of people there that didn't want the ball today. You know, and the crowd, they felt it. And I haven't heard the Old Trafford crowd like that in a very long time. That really, really turned them, and that upset them, because at halftime they booed like crazy. But it was only because of the players' actions in terms of not getting after people, and also in possession. They didn't look comfortable. Playing out from the back, from David De Gea into Lindelof into Wan-Bissaka, I mean, the patterns were, well, they weren't there. And if you watch Liverpool pass the ball, you know, it goes forward, it goes back, a little set, and they work their way gradually up the pitch. I think for United, we didn't see those patterns today. It unsettled the players, it ended up unsettling the fans, and then the atmosphere just changed.